So that's going to tie into what we're going to do today with called synthetic substitution. Okay, so there's something called direct substitution. We could do long division and then synthetic substitution. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways to evaluate.
Which is the easiest?
The last one. Okay, so of course I make you do all the hard work first, and then I show you the easy method. So let's start off with what's called direct substitution. That just means, here's my function. I want to plug in 3 for all of them. So I have 3 times 3 cubed minus 6 times 3 squared plus 3 minus 11. Okay. So let's see. Calculate this. Well, that's going to be 3 times 27
81.
minus 6 times 9. Yeah, so we have 81, 54. And actually, I can combine those. That's going to be a minus 8. All right, now let's see. 81 minus 50.
No, it's 35. No, it's 30. It's 65. How is
81 minus 54 is
What?
How? Wait.
Okay.
Wait, no, it's not.
No, it's
Okay.
20. It's 27. It's 21 is the final answer. 21 is the final answer.
Guys.
27.
There we go. Oh, 19.
19.
Okay. Whew. All right, we got to work on some of that basic computation skills. So, okay. Next, we're going to do long division. Okay, so if I'm saying f of 3, that means I want to divide by x minus 3. Okay, so it's the opposite.
So if it's
So-
f of negative 3, it's x plus 3?
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's review our long division because we still need to practice this for the actual.
Wait, did you get x?
So if our root is 3, that means our factor is x
Oh,
minus 3.
right.
So remember, it's like opposite for synthetic versus division, long division. All right, so I have 3x cubed minus 6x squared plus x minus 11. I'm not missing any of my terms. Okay. X goes into 3x cubed, 3x squared. And based on your quizzes, we could still use some practice with long division. So here we have, I'm going to give them back to you after the lesson. Okay, so this will be 3x cubed minus 9x squared.
Does it become plus?
Plus 3.
So it's going to be,
Minus three?
draw the line,
How'd you get 9x squared?
3 times 3x squared.
the 3x squared times the minus 3.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, if I knew that before the quiz.
Okay, see, it would have helped. Well, now we know it for the chapter test, which counts for more of your grade anyway. Okay, combine, we get 3x squared. Bring down the plus x. X goes into 3x squared.
2x. 3x. No, 1x.
3x. Because remember, when we distribute here, you want to get that first term is exactly the same. So that's going to be 3x squared
Minus 9x.
minus 9x. Draw the line,
Plus 10x minus
change the signs, and combine. So yes,
The remainder.
10x minus, bring down the minus 11, okay.
19.
Then plus 10.
So plus 10. So 10x minus 30. Oops, draw the line, change the sign, combine.
I actually got good at this.
Okay, so what do we notice about the first answer and our remainder?
Same.
It's the same.
You could
So
check.
whatever our remainder is,
Oh, it's a good-
means f of 3 is equal to 19. Okay, so that was still a lot of work to get that final answer, right? So one method is you can plug it in direct substitution. One method is using long division, which There's a lot of places to come up with an error. The last one we're going to do is the easiest. Okay? Yeah, Ethan.
For the test, are we gonna have like do these three terms? And then-
So I'm only going to, for this particular type of problem, I'm only going to ask synthetic substitution. Okay, synthetic substitution means synthetic division.
You just take the remainder.
And we're just going to take the remainder. Okay, so let's look at, I have a 3, a -6, a +1, and a -11.
They should do that.
So this is going to have the least amount of computation. It usually, we will find the least number of errors. So what do we do with synthetic? We bring down the 3, 9. -6 plus 9 is 3.
Oh yeah, that's super easy.
3 times 3 is 9. Add those, we get 10, 30, 19. So note what I put here. We get the same value of f of 3. Which one was the easiest? Well, depending on the first, like depending on what function you're given in the beginning. But I actually think this is the easiest. It's the smallest numbers that we had to deal with and the least amount of work. Okay, so if I ask you to do synthetic substitution, you have to do it this way. Now, you could check your answer by plugging it in directly, but you have to show this in the work. Yeah.
So if we wanted to write the answer down, will we do like 9 plus? No, for the actual division problem.
Which division?
The one that we just did.
What about it?
How do we write down the remainder? Just 19 over.
Yeah, that's it.
But you don't need to.
You don't have to do
You
that.
don't need to do it.
Oh, you would do plus 19 over x minus
Okay.
3.
What if there's no remainder?
Okay, if there's no remainder, that's what we're going to do next. If there is no remainder, we end up with what's called a depressed polynomial. All right, it's lost. I know it's lost one of its factors, so now it's depressed. And basically, that's what happens when you have a 0 remainder. Okay, so if you get...
Once you've done the division.
Yeah, we could only do this after we did all the division part. So if you get a remainder of 0, that means what we're dividing by is a factor. It means it goes into it nice and evenly. Okay. So we want to determine if x minus 3 is a factor of x cubed plus 4x squared minus 15x minus 18.
Wait, so would you write, if it's 0, you just leave it at 0?
Okay, so if it's 0, it would be, so if it's 0, like if we had 0, if we got 0 here, that would mean f of 3 equals 0.
And you just leave it.
Just leave it, yeah. But for this one, what we want to do is we want to find the other factors, and then we're going to graph it. Okay, so we can take a real complicated function like this and do some synthetic division. See if we can factor it further, and we can make a real nice sketch without using a calculator. So what are we going to put on the outside this time?
Nice.
Same thing, right? X equals 3. So remember, we take x minus 3, set that equal to 0. And I didn't even give you any crazy coefficients. So we have a 1, 4, -15, and -18. Okay, so the question is, do we get 0 when we divide this? Let's see, 1, 3, 7, 21, 6, 18, 0. Okay, so this is a factor. So x minus 3 is a factor. Okay, that's good. That's good news. Because now we can identify the depressed polynomial. So what's our depressed? Bless you. Okay, what's Our depressed polynomial, it lost one of its factors, so what do we have left?
0, 1.
What do we have left? What would this polynomial be?
Plus 7x
X squared
Yeah, plus.
plus 7x plus 6. The question is, can we factor that further? Yes. What are the other factors?
Minus 6, no,
Plus 6 and plus 1. So this kind of combines a lot of the topics that we did previously, okay? Synthetic division, rewriting the polynomial, factoring. Now we're going to graph it. Okay, so what are our zeros? Yeah.
So to know that x minus 3 is a factor, if it has a remainder.
Yeah, if we got a 0, that means x minus 3 is a factor. If we get anything other than 0, basically we can't go any further.
And what happens to you? How do you graph it?
We wouldn't have enough information to graph it then. So purposely the question is set up so you do get a 0. Okay, what are our zeros? Well, if x minus 3 is a factor, we're going to have a 0 at 3. If x plus 6 is a factor, we're going to have a 0 at negative 6 and negative 1. Okay, let's go back to our original polynomial. This was a positive odd exponent. So that means it's going to go up to the right, down to the left. So I know it's going to look like this on the ends.
How do you know it's?
Because it's a positive x cubed, right? So positive x cubed goes this like that. And then what's going to happen here? We're just going to go up and down. And that's it. Okay, so again, it's combining synthetic division, factoring, graphing. Good.
I don't get why the graph is like that.
Well, it's a positive x cubed. What's x cubed look like? It goes up to the right, down to the left. So I know that's my end behavior.
So that's 2 times points.
Yeah, of course. Right? Remember we talked about if it's an x cubed, it can have at most n minus 1. Turn. Yeah. Go for it. It's very similar. It's a positive x cubed, so it's going to have similar end behavior. Whoops.
This is just very hard. For some, was it hard for you?
I guess we'll have to find out, won't we?
Can we just write dp?
Yeah, sure.
And I have to figure out what this is.
Did it go in evenly? Okay, and now can you factor it? So rewrite this. That's your depressed polynomial. And it does factor. This one works out nicely. It's just the graph is like really scrunched.
Wait, is it?
Let me see.
Not the factor.
Wait, what'd you get?
For the other factors.
Wait, what multiplies together to give us 6?
Oh, wait.
Negative 2 and negative. You need 2 negative. Negative 2 and negative
3.
3. Good. Max,
Wait,
you
why
get it?
can't I do negative 6 1?
Because when you add because when you multiply those, that would give us a negative 6. Doesn't have to multiply to get positive 6. What happened?
Oh, it's a very small graph. So it's
No. Careful here. Has to multiply to be positive 6,
like that, right?
add up to negative 5. Perfect.
I did correctly. That's not bad. Eight times
Think
your
back
opposite, I
from
guess.
negative 2 to negative 2. I'm gonna make those equal
I
to
got
0.
I got for my zeros. I got 1, 2, and 3.
X minus
Oh yeah, I put the 2 and 3 on the wrong side.
Wait.
If-
X minus, so
Yeah,
it has to
from the-
reach X.
If x minus
Wait.
1 is a factor, x equals 1 is a 0. Remember, factors and zeros
it's the
have like
zero,
opposite
okay,
signs.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
switched.
yeah.
Okay.
What is this graph supposed to look like?
Well, try it. Much better. Excellent.
Yeah, because, okay, I get it now.
Okay, so rewrite the depressed polynomial. Okay, what multiplies? Do you guys do the x or not? Like, what multiplies together to give us 6 adds up to negative 5,
I never understood how to do that.
negative 2, and negative 3?
Oh yeah, I know that.
Well, I did that when you guys were in 9th grade. Yeah, but you might have seen it before
Yeah, I
also.
saw it.
Because you went to
The
Heschel.
Del Rubin.
I was going to say,
I never had a
Heschel.
dough.
You didn't have
She
it.
How do you-
hated me.
You were pretty
Good.
How did she hate you? You never had.
No, she like for some reason didn't know.
Okay. So this is what our graph looks like. Yeah. So it's all scrunched in because 1, 2, and 3 are the zeros. Okay. Questions?
Is this?
You got it
is
wrong
that
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I
Next.
got all that.
Okay, the last page is more of the same, just we don't have to graph them. We're just doing a synthetic division and then factoring if possible. So good review of synthetic division.
Everything else we talked about.
We just don't have to graph it. So this one, so I'm purposely giving you one of its factors,
Oh, so you don't
which
have to-
means the remainder must be equal to 0. If we don't get 0, we made a mistake.
So then you don't have to do something like that.
Well, do you want to do long division? I didn't specify, but given one of the factors, I have to find the remaining factors. Yeah, so I'm looking for all the other factors. So I'm going to, looks like 3 was a popular 0 here. 1, negative 5, negative 3.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now notice I'm not really giving you anything larger than an x cubed because once we get to a quadratic, I want you to be able to factor it. Okay. Let's see, it froze it. So let's see if we get the same. What did we get? X squared plus 2x.
Oh yeah.
Wait, if it's the same factor for the other factor,
Can you
just
do
do it
X?
squared.
Yeah, you should do x plus 1 squared.
Yeah, so
I didn't want to give the answer.
did we get 0 for the remainder? Excellent. So let's jump
I already
in.
have
That's
5 holes
fine.
already.
So I don't care if you write x plus 1 times x plus 1 or x plus 1 squared. It's fine.
The personal.
Right. It's fine. Personal preference, absolutely. Okay.
This lesson is way better than the other lesson. Actually, I'm just
Okay. So everybody good with A? Yes. Okay, how about B? Oops. So if it's x plus 2, we're going to divide by negative 2.
I got a 0. I got 2 zeros.
Because then
Yeah.
so when you do, then it'd be x squared minus 1.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
So we did end up with 0 at the end was a must. We happened to get 0 for the second one. So that means this would be x squared minus 1.
So just x minus 1, x plus 1.
Good. So these are your remaining factors, right? Difference of two squares. You recognize that?
Yes.
Okay, last one. Yes, I gave you a coefficient in front of the x. So let's review this because we still seem to have a little bit of trouble on the quiz. I'm going to divide everything by what? 3. So
And then it's like 1/3. Right?
it's going to be...
Yeah, I remember.
Negative.
Okay, I'm going to put on the outside, though, a negative 1/3. Right? Because remember, we're going to change the sign. So it's going to be a negative 1/3. Let's leave some room because it's fractions.
3 minus
So, wait, not 6 divided by 3 is
2.
Oh,
2.
that's my problem.
negative 25 thirds,
You just write that.
negative 8, and negative 5 thirds. So again, if we don't get 0 at the end, we know we made a mistake because we were told that it's a given 0.
Wait.
So if it doesn't go in evenly, just leave it as an improper fraction. Everything should work out in the end. So I'm going to bring the 2 down. 2 times negative 1/3, negative 2/3.
27 over 3 is 9.
Yeah.
Negative 9. Don't
Yeah.
forget the sign. Yes.
Really much.
Okay, 1/3
3.
and 9, right? Multiply together to give us 3. That works out nicely. So that gives us
5 over 3.
5 over 3, which is 0. Okay, so that means we have 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. So the last thing we want to do here is factor that.
Then equals 2x minus 1. X plus 5.
2x minus 1 and x plus 5. I think I might change the signs around. Why?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so you have to get a negative 9.
Because we have to get a negative 9x. So this should be a plus 1 and a minus 5. So we just want to make
How
sure
do you?
the outside and the inside add up to the negative. And then remember, there's also, if you don't remember how to do that,
Outside and inside.
you can multiply the 2 to the end.
I'm confused a little bit.
Okay.
I know how to factor. I'm just like, I just didn't do it in my head.
No, you don't have to do it. So I believe you were taught a couple different ways.
This method.
So my method goes like this.
How'd you just like think that?
I used a combination of another method that I saw in the past. It just doesn't do it exactly this way.
You got it from Google.
I did not get it from Google.
Did you remember?
That's why I didn't listen to what you talked about.
That's why I got fired.
Hey, I'm recording. Okay. What two numbers multiply together to give us 10? So it's going to be a minus 10. And then this one reduces, so that would be my x minus 5 and my 2x plus 1. So these are my remaining factors.